Hey, what's going on? It's Mando Crusader, and welcome to episode 12 of our playthrough of Sunless Skies. Last time we went from Albion, we left, we came back to the Reach, we came to New Winchester, made a stop at Port Prosper, and also we almost died, but that's not important, you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, that's literally all that happened, though. So this episode, we're just gonna jump right into it today. No big long speech. This episode, we're heading to Titana because we need to start smuggling, and that's how we start. We also are heading up here to Old Tom's Well to continue the storyline with our incautious driver. And from there, we're just gonna do generally some more errands and find more stuff. So yeah, that's about it. Before we get into that, I just want to say, if you like this content, always remember to leave a like on the video. It really helps out. It really helps out the channel. Also, subscribe and ring the bell. That also helps out. And be sure to comment below in the comments. Anything you want, but do keep in mind that I take requests for games to play. So, with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this and shove off on our journey. So, first things first, we need to, well, actually, first, we need to head over here. We need to make a decision. So, we have port reports that from the Reach that we could turn in, but once we dock here, just 1 second. We do have port reports, but the fantastic fatalistic signalman requires 6 port reports from the Reach in order to progress his story. Now we are, I swear this always takes a few seconds to load, and it makes me so annoyed every single time. There we go. We are good on money. We could always use more, obviously, but we are good for now. So the decision I have to make is, do we save our port reports for the signalman, or do we turn them in at Victory Hall and get money? So we currently have 2 port reports. I believe they're from Port Prosper and... No, okay, they're from... No, That's from Port Prosper and Magdalene's. So we could turn those in, or we could collect port reports on the places that we're going to be going today. And I think we're going to save them. Because we are, like I said, we're good on money right now. And progressing our officers' stories is always very, very important. So we're going to save our port reports, and I'm heading off to Titana, so I will see you there unless something interesting happens. Alright, here we are, approaching Titana. There's a part of it I didn't discover. And it is here that we will be able to progress in smuggling. Oh, Latin, I assume. Titana is under siege. Chorister bees flood its streets and petals. The thrashing of their wings is the drumbeat of apocalypse, and the people flee in panic from their mighty stingers. But there is no safe harbor and no respite. All is lost. Well, alright then. That's a bit doomer for my taste. Let's help defend Titana. All hands, ready all weapons, fire! Gosh, fire! And it's a 100% chance of success, so we will succeed. Silence in the space of half an hour. Plain song drowns the lamentation, and the fury and the mind. All the world joins death's hymnal. Those who proudly defy their fate, and those who beg for wretched mercy. Those who raise their arms, those who buckle their knees. The chorister hive takes the lyrics of poets yet unwritten, the unsung songs from lips now forever silent. It is only iron and fire that quietens the voice of carnage. But lo, the song ends only by its own accord. Once the nectar is gathered, the hive departs, and there is a lasting silence. Well, we now have 1 gourd of chorister nectar, which is very valuable. Right. Okay. So, I've actually forgot about this event. You'll remember last time we visited Titana a few episodes ago. The port was fine, you could do stuff, yada yada yada. That is not true anymore. The port is now destroyed, and so we're gonna have to build it back up. That's basically the storyline of Titana. So, first of all, write a port report. Alright. And before we do a new start for Titana, let's get our other things first. So, drop off a settler. You're here. Remember this guy that we picked up so long ago and we've been traveling the skies with? Well, it's time to finally deliver him. They have arrived at the destination. Whether or not they still wish to be here is another matter entirely. Encourage your passenger to disembark. Things might have changed while you were in transit. You may not be rewarded as well now. A breeze wafts the sweet perfumes of wild flower in your direction. Lovers race by in various states of undress. A giggling nudist capers after them. No one will look the settler in the eye. His scowl could shatter glass. We are late, he says. Yeah, sorry about that. I can only hope the people of this good settlement are less prone to tardiness than you are. Here are your wages. I bid you good day. Alright, you know what? I can't really blame him for that. I honestly can't really blame him. Next up, Wit and Vinegar. Find the Midnight Rose. The Midnight Rose, who trade in red honey, have their base here. The gloomy middleman wants you to find out why the honey supply has dried up. So for those of you not familiar with red honey, well, I'll see if the game describes it, but if not, I'll be happy to describe it. Let's just say there's a reason why it's outlawed, and why we have to smuggle it. Somewhere amidst the garrets and galleries of Titana hide the Midnight Rose. They make red honey, an old London vice. The manner of its creation is a secret, but it is rumored to require a breed of rose first grown in hell, bees, and memories harvested from caged subjects. There we go. Imbibing red honey allows you to live those memories, to ransack the contents of another's heart. Yeah, so that's what red honey is. Basically, Sunless Skies describes not Sunless Skies, we're playing that. Sunless Seas, the game that came before this, and if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to play on this channel, describes the process in much more detail. Basically, the bees, they literally harvest the memories from people, and they turn those memories into honey. And when you consume the honey, you, you relive those person's memories. And the person whose memories they came from then exists sort of as a husk of a person. So, yeah, there's a reason why it's banned, and we're going to be profiting off of other people's suffering, which is always a good thing. So let's ask the Incognito Princess. Let's ask the Incognito Princess if she knows where to find them. You've heard the royal family were enthusiastic devotees of red honey. Perhaps she can help. Like moths to a flame, Oh, honey made me the woman I am today, she says with a secretive smile. I'd be happy to help. She strides from salon to salon, letting a crowd of adoring poets, artists, and addicts flock to her. Within an hour, she has secured you an introduction. A precarious descent of ladders descends down the hideout of the Midnight Rose, a spiral of rickety platforms clinging to the great orchard's stalk. Here, the Rose have constructed an edifice of glass, something between an organry and a cowshed. It hums with bees and shivers with sobbing. Good stuff. Alright, the Midnight Rose are a close-knit courtier that produces precise vintages of red honey. If you want to taste the bleak memories of an orphan or the excessness of reckless libertine, then they are able to provide. Their leader is an ethereal apiarist whose laced gowns are stained at the hem with grass and soil. Bees crawl lazily in her wild hair. Let's see. Ask why the export of honey to London has slowed. Let's accompany her as she works in the glass house. She is disarmingly frank. The red honey trade seems to be something of an open secret in Titania, the other side of the port's coin. The honey harvest. Rose bushes heap against the glass and climb in thorny tangles through the greenhouse. Among them are tall cages, each occupied by a prisoner. Oh, so this does go into detail. Okay, well, we're gonna find out what it is together. Bees buzz into and out of their ears and sip from the corners of their eyes. The prisoners cry out and sob and plead. Look closer, the apiarist says. Around each of their necks hangs a key on a chain. They can free themselves at any time, but choose not to. They are artists, you see. They believe they must suffer if they are to one day make great art. That's a bit bollocks, isn't it? Art no more relies on misery than plumbing relies on a nunai. Or whatever that word is. I have never even seen that word before. But no, that's a bit bollocks. She has the dignity to look awkward. Yes, well, they are romantics. Perhaps telling themselves this lie will give them the confidence to make something remarkable. Think of it as a placebo. The medicine was only water and sugar, but the patient still recovered. Alright then. Ask why the export of honey to London has slowed. The apiarist sighs. A problem. The revenue men, she says darkly. They've appointed a new captain to patrol the skies nearby. He used to be one of the gentlemen, the smugglers who operate out of Pan, and he knows a lot of the tricks. Inconvenient. You'll need to find a way to circumvent this canny captain. So, in order to do this, we are going to need an unlicensed chart. Now, unlicensed charts are a bit hard to come by. I know you can get them from certain facets. And I know that there's a rare event that can happen at Magdalen's where you can buy an unlicensed chart. But we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. So, before we leave, let's do a new start for Titania. Two of Titania's most prominent citizens are arguing about the new direction of the port post-Beepocalypse. The rhapsodic mayor is disinclined to be the deciding vote. The rhapsodic mayor looks relieved to see you. Captain, perhaps you can help settle a little matter for us. We've agreed that we need to choose one style and stick with it, but... She sighs, looking at her fellow council members, the melancholy poet and stone-faced sculptor. We find ourselves at an impasse. Your thoughts? Okay, we are going to return later and make this decision, because we want to choose Eleutheria, because we are part of the liberation of Night. So, we are going to attend an exhibition to lower our terror and head off. Next stop is Old Tom's Well. So, I'll see you there. Ow. Well, We seem to have come across the, I forget what this wind is called. But, at least we're not going against it. Also, while we're here, we may as well stop at the nature reserve. So, here we are. That wind, it does refill your supplies. I think it's the verdant wind? I'm not sure. But we may as well stop off at the reserve. Let's see. We're going to join a hunting party. Reduce our terror. Can we... Let's see. Gather a report, obviously. Converse with fellow captains. Okay, no, never mind. I thought I did something else. While we're here, we can witness this completed research. An orchard is growing outside. Their trees all bear, well, one cannot say fruit, for they bear potatoes or carrots, while others have ears of corn hanging like pine cones. The philemic researcher raises his glass. I call them sapling knots. With careful discipline, it's possible to harness the reach's chaos and abundance. After that, one may dictate growth. Wood may be negotiated with. We gain some experience. We gain a sack of seeds. And we can take a new list of stuff. So we need the stomach of a katakari, a cutting of a titanium petal. We were just there. Now we gotta go back. And a fungal crinoline. Alright. So, okay. Stop at the nature reserve is over. Onwards again towards Old Tom's Well. Another instance of, as you saw down there, it was the peacock's wind that this is, but this time it is not blowing our direction. So while our food supplies are getting refilled, it does tax our fuel quite a bit. It'll be fine, probably. Oh, and it increases our terror, so that's fun. Pirate. A reach. Marauder. Words make short work of this guy. Of course, he had to be right next to a horror. Meaning our terror gets to spike. Nailed it. Got it. Not a single point of damage taken. Because of that, let's just loot the hold. Get a cache of curiosities. And we now have a carefully packed crate of munitions. Great. And we are not going to be engaging them. If we can get away with it. Nope, we cannot. Okay. So we have to fight the star-maddened explorer. Our terror is not pretty. But we still got it. We can examine the captain's logs and find a sky story or a tale of terror, which we are going to. And there's a sky story and some money. I'm not gonna say no to that. I may as well not cut away because we're almost here. Like I said, I am getting a little concerned about my terror. We do get some supplies, though, so that's fun. Grab that, some extra fuel. In fact, just what the doctor ordered. And here we are. More sky-maddened explorers. Approaching Old Tom's Well. Below, beneath the scudding clouds, a speckle of structures cling to a shelf of ice. The well winds drag at your engine like the frantic clutch of a drowning man. The well gapes. Descend. The winds howl. You'll need a steady hand at the helm. You have a 50% chance to get in without damaging our hull. And we failed. Alright, it was a 50-50 shot. A velocitous descent. Down through the tearing mists. Through the whipped particulates that thunder on your hull. Through the shrieking winds which fall abruptly still. A ledge of black ice has accreted over centuries the well's edge, with only a raised lip affording a sliver of shelter. The landing is more abrupt than you intended. As you regain your feet, you hope that sickening crunch was the ice, not your hull. A handful of beehive huts huddle around a crude church, built from roughly chopped blocks of the same black ice that form the shelf around the well. Old Tom was a prospector during the promised days that followed London's arrival in the heavens. For years, he combed the reach looking for the strike that would make him rich. He didn't find it. Luckless and impoverished, he made a wish here, at the well. The next month, he discovered the mother of mountains and the rich hour veins that riddled her flanks. For a year before his disappearance, he was staggeringly wealthy. Others come here now, desperate and broken, with their final futile wishes. So, first things first, the reason why we came, escort the incautious driver to the well. The fungal sentience colonizing their mind has led them here. But why? The driver, driven. The incautious driver strides to the very lip of the well and leans precariously out to stare into the depths. The well winds pluck at them. You grab a handful of their coat just in case. Can you see them, comrade? Glimmerings in the dark. The bones of the sun. The driver looks back at you, their eyes suddenly as green as old emeralds. A messenger came, inscribed with sigils of peace, but it bore a well seed. Murder beneath the arches of heaven. The driver's balance shifts, they lurch, and you pull them back onto the gritty ice. When they look up, their eyes return to their customary blue. Thank you. My head is feeling very crowded, but the impulse has changed now. I need to return to the nature reserve. Its home is there. Or its parents? Its master? Not sure. I don't speak fungus. Alright. Well, considering the time, that's probably where we're going to end the episode off. But before then, let's explore Old Tom's Well a little bit. So, explore the beehive hovels. They serve as temporary homes to those who have come to make a wish at the well. Barnacles clinging to the edge. The sky churns as you make your way to the pitiful domes. Most are empty, awaiting a well-wisher, but the third one is not. It contains a corpse stiff as an icicle, some supplicant who died before their wish was granted. You move on. In the fifth dwelling, you find a sallow petitioner, her eyes feverish. I saw gold in the well, she croaks, unprompted, glistening in the deeps. Oh yeah, so I should probably mention, all of this, specifically this paragraph, that's foreshadowing for something later in our ambition. So I'm not gonna address it now, but I'll address it when the time comes, and you'll know when the time comes. Let's see. Enter the kirk, a simple leaning tower and nave constructed from black, unmortared ice bricks. A voice can be heard from within. Across the ice. The ice crunches underfoot, caking your boots with pithy crust. There is no door on the church. Inside, pews are carved from the ice. A ragged handful of supplicants sit on them, bitten by the bone-bleak cold. On the altar, a single precious candle burns. A lank minister reads from a dog-eared scrap of paper, as he clothes himself with cursing like as with his garment, so let it come into his bowels like water, and like oil into his bones. Alright then. Speak to the lank minister. Her cheekbones are as sharp as flint axe heads. Her skin is pocked by the cold. Her gaze is judgmental. Once her dress was elaborate and fair. Now the hems are frayed, much of the lace has stiffened with frost and snapped off. Her hair is tied in a greasy bun. Well, ask about her denomination. What branch of the church does she represent? The compassed. The ignorant call us the cursing church, but we are the compassed, who dwell on the brinks. We are the lambs who were torn by the wolf. We are the undone, and the angel of the pit hears us where it would not hear others. Alright. Ask about their holy text. What is that pitiful scrap of paper? It looks like a bill or a promissory note that has passed through too many hands and should have been crashed long ago. The cursing psalm. Her congregation raise their hands. Each has their own leaf of paper. A single page torn from the Bible. The only page that matters. Debatable. The Judas Psalm. It contains the only lesson that we need to hear. The promise that those who wronged us can be made to suffer. Alright, well these seem like a bunch of cheery folks. Ask about their rights. A blessing would not go amiss. Probably. Undeserving. They are not for the unconfirmed, and if you want to partake of our rights, you must join our congregation. And if you want to join our congregation, you must convince me that you are one of us. A confession. Only then would you be permitted to take part in the right of wrongs. Yeah, let's offer a confession. What could possibly go wrong? Please laugh. Offer a confession. They will only accept you if they believe you've been grievously wronged. We are not concerned with crimes you may have committed or temptations you wrestle with, the minister mutters. This is a confession of weakness. You are here because you were wronged, because you bear a grievance you cannot forgive. You came here to ask for all God's vengeance on someone. So tell me, who is to blame? Well, unfortunately, I know you're all disappointed. We cannot join this very cheery sect because we do not have a moment of inspiration. So we're going to excuse ourselves, leave the well, discover it very quickly, if we can. Oh, that hideous... the... Tensions are high and the crew making mistakes. The preternaturally fertile seeds of the reach must be stored with the utmost care. A flicker of light, a lap of moisture, and they burst into violent growth. Like the sack in your hold, from which questing vines have groped, knotting around your cargo. We can just remove it. We've gained the supplies, and we've lost a terror. There's old Tom's well. We can now leave. We can leave. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to fight you. We are going... Discretion is the better part of valor. And we are going to discuss right now. So, I am going to head back to the Nature Reserve, where we'll read the Incautious Driver's next story beat, and from there, we're gonna call it an episode. So, I'll see you when I get there. Oh dear, nightmares, you are not alone. Tonight, the stars are cold and hard. Sleep eludes you. Go for a walk. The corridors are quiet, save for the thrum of busy pipes. An insolent visitor. Passing along an outer corridor, you are surprised by a face pressed against the outside of a window. The frosted jowls, the bristly mustache. It is the same corpse that drifted into the path of your vessel. We can ignore it and increase our nightmares. steer into a passing scree squall, or board up the window. They're just gonna steer into a squall. Ouch. Toodaloo! The scree thunders on your hull like a gravel on a tin bath. The corpse is brushed away. Was that last look in its frozen face surprise, affront, disappointment? So we have lost some hull, but we don't need our nightmares raising more. Also, we are here at the reserve. So let's dock right in. And is it here? Oh, this is something good. Export sapling knots. Someone has ordered them from Ledbetter and Stainrod. There's an opening call for captains willing to deliver. So, when we go back to New Winchester, we can get some money from this. So that's that. I assume it's over here. Yes, follow the incautious driver into the reserve. The verdancy in their head drives them deep into the wilderness. Reunion. Deep in the wilderness stands a mighty tree, shriveled and dry. A fungal growth twists around it, its blooms flecked with purple and black. The incautious driver approaches it, lying down in supplication. The verdant pulses, its buds splitting open and erupting in a spore fall that soon coats the driver in a shimmering emerald dust. For several minutes, silence. When the driver emerges, their faces crestfallen. It wasn't enough. What I brought it was only half the story. It needs more. You escort them back to the train. They should be more coherent after a good meal and a few hours of sleep. I suppose we can just talk to them now, can we? Let's see. Check in on the driver. Have they recovered from their ordeal in the nature reserve? A final test. The driver just picks irritably at their ear. I was meant to be off this train by now. Just go into the well and everything will be fine. Instead, it's unsatisfied, comrade. It needs an answer to something that I can't give it. There's a piece of itself missing, somewhere in Albion. Another of its spores sent out many years ago to find the truth. I can feel it out there, somewhere, refusing to return. It enjoys its freedom too much. Perhaps if we looked at the major ports, they must have left some trace. We have to find it, Captain. Alright, so that's something we can do next time we go to Albion. But that will be for another time, because that's the end of this episode. So, thank you all for watching. Next time, we're going to do some more general stuff around the Reach, try to gather some port reports, maybe venture into Trader's Wood. That's always a fun time. Maybe explore Hybris. Who knows? But until then, thank you all so much for watching. Remember, if you like this episode, be sure to leave it a like. It really helps the channel out. Also, remember to subscribe and ring the bell, because that really helps the channel out too. Also, leave a comment. I do take game requests. Thank you all again for watching, and that's about it. Have a good one.